Hello, my name is Marcus. I'm the designer of a collection of therapy books entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind, a collection of events and helpful books in what's often called the psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic perspective, which long ago, as I understand it, was referred to by some as philosophical medicine or narrative medicine, helping us to reclaim our lost authentic self. We had it at birth. The theory is, um, generally speaking, the theory is, for the most part, most children lose their authentic self simply because the misattunement, the reverie for consideration, the rhythm of safety, the oneness, the feeling of the blissful oneness, somehow, usually, more often than not, it seems to be gets broken at birth. In particular, if the one theory is if the cord and placenta are removed from the baby, that's huge because that's the bridge to the mother. If they lose that bridge, they lost their mother. If the baby just comes out of the water world into this whole new world, the land world, and he was in a blissful, safe place, he's not ready. He needs a continuation of the blissful ones to the mother. Now, if the mother's gone during the transition phase, he's abandoned. Like he's like, "Where's mother?" kind of thing. Plus, he might have been terrorized during the birthing process. So the mother wasn't around to soothe things out and sort things out for the baby. So he might have been hurt at birth, but the bigger trauma is he lost the mother with the removal of the cord and placenta. So at that point, what does the child do? His original authentic self that every person gets, we're born with it, again, that beingness, the midnight blue, Lou Graham calls it the midnight blue. You get the feminine element, the feminine principle, the ontological self, the feeling self, the embodiment, the sense of embodiment, however you want to describe it. Some people just simply, in psychology, if they use the word soul, they mean it like that. So in psychology, when they say the word soul, they mean like your beingness like that. So if that authentic beingness of us gets frozen, flash frozen, sent away, then the purpose of therapy is to get your soul back into your body. Because metaphorically speaking, the soul can be morphed into a bird and it flies away, or sometimes, usually it's a princess, but she's locked in a tower, or she's in a coma in a box like Snow White, or Miss Echo, it turns to stone, becomes a statue. Um, Joy and Sadness and Inside Out, the Disney film Inside Out gets zooped away. That's like the golden ball going down the well. Iron John's in the cage. Miss Core in the field, the earth opens up, she gets pulled down like that. Lost down into the limbic system, the jungle survival uh, part of the mind. So, meaning the baby had their beingness, they were born with it. Something happened at birth, usually, and the child can't, he's got to hide it, he's got to protect it, he's got to exile it, he's got to freeze it up, he's got to send it away, kind of thing. But it's damaged, it's wounded, but it's got to send it away. So, and then how we feel by our exiling of our authentic self, how we feel by it. Okay, one metaphor is the pin goes in the collar, okay, and then the metaphor is that below the collar, the person is going to feel not feeling really like the velveteen rabbit, not really alive, not real like that. So the jargon is flat affect, flat affect, athemolexia, no feelings for your words, or alexithymia, no words for your feelings. Yeah, that's a huge issue. We're not we're not meant to live like kind of disconnected from our beingness, from our ontological self. We live meaningfully, but to the extent that we are connected to our authentic self with the golden ball there. And if you have your authentic self, that means you differentiate it with the mother. Hold on a sec. I'm experimenting with that opening for our videos now. It's a song called the opening riff is from a song called "Star" by the classic rock band Streetheart. So they were popular in the '70s and '80s mainly. That's off their second album called "Under Heaven Over Hell." Excellent band. Kenny Shields was the lead singer. This voice is Kenny Shields. Um, She said, no, 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 mister, can't you see?
pop artist, the star of the show. Is there something here that perhaps I should know? Baby, you're a real good friend, don't push. I really love you. I really love you.
Okay, fun song, yeah. Not for the lyrics, just sort of a fun little song like that. Um, okay, I'm experimenting with a new phone here. My regular phone kind of died on me. This was my regular phone for the past 7 years, basically. Excellent little phone, very sort of minimalist. It's small, thin, light as a feather, fits in your pocket. It suffered the elements, 3 continents, over 1,000 videos. There's no special cover. No, I've dropped it who knows how many times. Um, Geez, what a durable, reliable. This has been an amazing phone. Yes, it's kind of basic. You can't do many fancy things on it, but you can you can watch films on it and record videos, of course. Um, so this has been a great little phone. I really miss it. I really, really miss it. Um, it finally kind of died on me. But if I plug in the battery and plug in the speaker, I can use it for music still. So I'll still have some connection to it. What I'm using now, what I'm holding now in my other hand is this clunker I found in the clearance bin. Uh, it's some kind of an older model phone. It's what I'm holding is I think maybe almost 3 times thicker. It's like a brick what I'm holding. 3 times heavier, almost let's say almost 3 times thicker. It's definitely maybe 20% taller and 20% wider than this. It doesn't fit in your pocket really. Um, so it's kind of a clunker, but it was a budget on sale clearance. They wanted to move it along to make space for the new models or something. So I'm still trying to figure out how it works. Um, but I'm experimenting with maybe now that I reset the phone, maybe now I'm wondering, I'll play this back, I'll know myself, but I'm wondering if you're hearing me more clearly this time around and the background noise has been kept to a minimum. That seems to be some embedded function in the phone that it'll focus and give you the main voice that's in front of the phone, and it'll quiet whatever the background noises are. I don't know if that's the case. I'll find out later, because I did do it at the Swan place. Usually it's noisy with the fans and the water, the sky train, very noisy background. So usually I have to talk very loudly over the. But I played it last time a couple of days ago, and sure enough, that's what happened. So I'm wondering if that'll be the case here in the mall, because the mall is pretty noisy as well. Um, so I got a very late start here today, so this will be a shorter video. But just let's just finish up this premise here. So that myths and fairy tales are very good for describing this premise. The premise being that we're born with a sense of authentic self, okay, and with that authentic self, um, there's capacities of the authentic self. So these capacities, Masterson lists them in his book called The Search for the Real Self. He calls them the 15 or no, 12 or 10, whatever, I forgot the list, capacities of the real self, he calls them. Um, so that takes time to go through each one of those 10. But they're very important points, you know. Um, and one of the main capacities as well is the goal. The ball is there. That means your feelings are there. Your primary feelings are there. So the core capacity of having your authentic self is that you now have a beingness of yourself. Now, if there's an I there, an authentic I of yours, that means you can mourn if there's a loss. You can admit a loss because there's an I feels sad. There's an I there. Who feels sad? I feel sad. There's got to be I there. So the authentic self is that I needed to admit a loss. We need to mourn losses if there's a loss. It's a natural phenomena to mourn and grieve or express our loss, to feel sad about it. And then joy can come back to the console. Okay, so out of the joy for which you pray is 100 tears away. So you need that I to be able to mourn losses. If the person doesn't have the I, oh boy, they don't mourn losses. They usually become a curmudgeon, a bitter, stingy, irritable curmudgeon late in life. So there's a theory about how that kind of snowballs and kindles to that place. Um, and if you have the beingness, well, let's say let's say a woman, a mother, has her beingness. That's what's needed to love her baby. If the mother doesn't have that beingness and she says she loves her baby. Well, where's the she? What you talking about? There's no she. The mother needs to feel safe with her mother to be able to differentiate and be distinct and quote unquote hatch out of the merging that's originally there between the two. So the baby and the mother are one in a blissful union, blissful kind of fusional, symbiotic, merging kind of state. It's a blissful, powerful feeling, they say. But nevertheless, all babies are in a state of oneness. Oh, geez, oh, this thing is this annoying thing. I don't know how to get rid of all these blinking kind of things like this. Hmm. I got this huge sort of square, um, kind of square, and this little kind of sun symbol with the big square telling me, do something about the contrast, will you? Well, I'm trying to set it or something, but it doesn't seem to work. It's nighttime here. It's like around 7:30 at night here. I almost never do night videos, just very rare, like once in a, geez, like once a year almost, or no, maybe even twice a year I do a night video. So I try to do them in the afternoons kind of thing. Thursday around, what is it? What time is it? 7:17 Thursday, on a Thursday here. To my surprise, it's not too busy today. Okay, so what? Yeah, back to the pin. So in the Maiden King story, the metaphor is the pin goes on the collar, usually at birth. Sometimes in the uterus, if there's prenatal trauma that'll happen. Usually it's at birth, or if the child is lucky to get a natural birth, Laboyer birth, gentle birth, a Klaus and Kennel birth, um, you know, where the cord stays, the placenta stays, the baby's handed to the bosom, the hormones stay, and the baby can maintain the oneness state with the mother, and the paradise continues. The baby needs a continuation of the original paradise. The babies need like an extended paradise that he had in the uterus, paradise, Shambhala, Shangri-La, heaven, paradise, whatever. He needs an extended blissful condition with the mother. So if the cord stays, the placenta stays, baby's handed to the bosom, hormones are there, helps the baby to the two kind of bond like that with the hormones, the love hormones. He's suckling. That means the nerves in the child line up with the nerves to the nipple to the breast of the mother. So there's a cable of communication there. That means the mother's going to pick up the signals and she can respond accordingly. So there's a rhythm of safety in the communication called the tumen, a trainment. Oh, a train to Loverland. Yeah. Now in the song called Constant Tourist by the band Lunik, she complains about how, well, as a baby, there was no train to Loverland, but she found that out by choosing a partner later in life that was like the mother, and she transferred that and said, "Gee, with the boyfriend here, there's no train to Loverland." It's interesting that they use that phrase because the shrinks sometimes call this communication between the baby and the mother a trainment. Usually it's a two-man. Some people call it a trainment. So now I kind of get the idea. Is that better? Yeah. However the visual is, however the audio is, if the issue, it's about the quotes. So we post on average, 10 quotes in each video. So so that's the focus here. I have anxiety. I have lots of anxiety. You see my ums and ahs, stops and starts, and self corrections, and geez, little mistakes here and there. And I do a lot of ums and ahs. I really, my goodness. Um, so I have not been analyzed. If I could get analyzed, I'd talk more smoothly, and those ums and ahs would go away. I'm assuming there's some kind of resistance. I'm assuming there's some kind of fear of speaking clearly and flowingly. And there's some voice saying, "Hey, listen to me." Interruption. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh no, I want to speak. Interruption. You know. So if I'm just kind of guessing here. Okay, so let's back up a sec. Yeah. So the baby, the theory is if the baby doesn't lose the beingness by birth, it might happen in the relationship with the mother. If she's misattuned, malattuned, if she's using the baby to meet her needs, that'll do it. If she's in protest mode with her mother and she wants to show up and expose what her mother had done to her by telling the world what had happened to her, by demonstrating, by shaming her baby, as if to say, "Look, world, I'm gonna cast my own baby into the role of me, and I'm gonna play the shaming mother, and I'm gonna show you, world, what my mother did to me. So this baby's me. I'm the mother. I'll be difficult and annoying to the baby and not meet the baby's needs. Okay? I'll be cruel like that. Well, that's what my mother did to me. I'm in protest mode. I'm angry like this. So if the mother's in that kind of mode, obviously the child's needs aren't being met. If the mother expects, if the mother has a fantasy that if she replays what happened to her in an attempt to remember what happened to her, obviously during that process the child's needs don't get met. So the mother forgot and doesn't know what happened to her. So one theory is if she repeats it somehow in some way, shape, or form, if she recreates it using the child as a stand-in for either her or the mother back then, and just some kind of replays the thing, including the shaming one. Some mothers say, "All right, baby, you play me, I'll play the mother. I'll shame you. The mother shame me. You're me, I shame you, because I'm her and you're me. I say shame you. I'm repeating what happened to me." That one version. Another version, the more benign one, is if the person um, if the person um, finds themselves in a self-defeating mode all the time. They're not against others. They just recreate disappointments against themselves. That's a little more benign like that. They're not hurting others. So the person might think if they recreate their what happened again and again and again, repeat, repeat, repeat. They think maybe somehow they'll get a better past. They'll change the past. They'll undo the past. They'll get the proper past. They used to say master the past. Forget this idea. Um, a woman can have 20 lifetimes passing down, uh, shaming her baby to say that her mother shamed her, and that child does the same thing, and that next child does the same thing. No one is healed by this. It doesn't make sense. Nothing's being mastered. But at the same time, um, the mother doesn't remember. That's why she repeats. It's painful to remember. That's why she repeats. At the same time, when a person repeats, it's something about the system that's trying to help the person know what happened. We're trying to remember. We're trying to remember. So we repeat in an attempt to remember. So if we can make the inference and piece it together and try to understand what happened and set it up so that we can feel now what we couldn't have felt back then. So we wanna now know what we couldn't back then, so we can then feel what we couldn't have felt back then. So we're repeating towards that end. And if we can do that, that's the phoenix and the firebird. The red bird rises. Okay, the firebird, that's the reaction, the catharsis, the purification. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, says Bob Marley. I don't play that song because of the copyright issue. So there's a kind of a release like that. Uh, then Bruce Springsteen, now you're independent. Your Independence Day, emotional Independence Day. You're free from that. You don't gotta. Um, now you can be yourself and live your life, kind of thing. Um, okay. As usual, I get easily distracted, so you might see me looking around. Kind of thing. Other people still, are they still there? Oh, there's people behind me. Okay. I won't play too many songs this time because there's some people just sort of behind me on the other to my side there. Oh, it's just one of the cook or something, or taking a break. Okay, hang on. Where are we here? So whatever old cunning tale is taking place, the baby's needs aren't being met. Okay, so he's terrorized. He thinks he's a goner. If his needs don't get met, yikes. How can he develop? How can he nourish him and and go forward? He needs to be soothed and feel safe so he can develop like that. If his needs aren't being met, okay, he's gonna freeze up there. That's called arrested development, stunted development, developmental arrest. Okay, so he's kind of fixated at this kind of point, and that's a pain like that, a pain so utter. So then, because of the pain, we're going to uh, create that childhood in the present because the pain we're still feeling, hoping for a better past. Because that part of the brain doesn't know time, so all time is that time. So the present is called the presenting past, or we transfer the past to the present due to the repetition compulsion. So this repetition compulsion is the thing that makes the person see in the present or transfer into the present the past. So the past is transferred into the present known as famously known as transfers. Due to the compulsion to repeat, we transfer like that. So in the present, um, we recreate some kind of new edition, new edition, or replay or reenactment of the past. So the present is not really being seen fully for what it is. We don't appreciate the present for what it is. Yes, materially we get the present's the present, but who cares, kind of thing. The the motivation and the energy and the desire and the fantasies, the quote unquote grand design, Burglar calls it, is to somehow get a better past. So you're not really seeing the present for its reality like that. You're going to use the present and see the present, distort the present, wrench the present, ring the present, selective omission, cherry pick, see what you need to see, make up what you want to see, just somehow distort, make excuses, somehow convince yourself that you're still in the past. So if you're still in the past, in the present, you're still in the past, you repeat what happened to you. Now, now there are two ways the repetition compulsion can take place: the passive, so-called passive, so-called active. But the active is not just a positive sign. So if the trauma is before 18 months, it's too much pain. So that's why he's got to make the Faustian deal, the Faustian bargain, the Faustian pact called identification with the aggressor. Oh boy. Yeah, because it's nighttime, I just had a mini coffee. What a difference, eh? Um, Look at that, eh? This is the small. Usually I get the medium, and it's just a slight difference in price. It's almost, Jesus, almost. Is it double? I would say it feels like it's almost double. Can you believe it? It's like half the size. Yeah, I would say it's close to maybe 70% extra or something. Just almost the same price. So never again am I gonna for the price of this small size of coffee. Actually, it's still. Hang on, what am I thinking? Yeah, no, it's roughly the same. So for the price of a cup of coffee, small or medium, you can get this Encyclopedia of Insights, 10,000 now in our collection. It's basically an administrative fee kind of thing. Plus, it shows that somebody's interested in it. It's for people at midlife, so they need to take a little initiative like that. So it's a massive file. Um, if it were printed out, it'd be like a five volume encyclopedia. It's a massive collection. The only thing like it out there on the planet ever. Um, I kid you not. Um, Several decades ago, a guy named Gregory Bauer did a little mini one called Wit and Wisdom in Dynamic Psychotherapy. But it's just a few hundred quotes basically, and half of them are like Freud quotes. So due to the mistranslation, forget that, and you got of what's left. There's a few that are okay, which I've incorporated into our collection. So it's nothing like it. We have 10,000 here versus a couple of dozen from him from several decades ago. So this is a very in-depth, very comprehensive, the best of the best quotes from the psychoanalytic perspective. Now, once again, this fancy term only means we believe that. I mean, the psychoanalytic. It's a fancy term. I know. I still feel that it's a very lofty term like that. But ironically, all it means is that we that that the child remembers what happens to him and it's going to influence him. Bingo. That's it. That's all it means, right? So the interpersonal, the baby and the mother, interpersonal, baby and the mother, two people, they relate to each other. This interpersonal relationship between the baby and the mother, okay, the baby's going to remember it in his brain, create neurocircuitry by that interaction. By that interaction, the interpersonal then becomes finally the intrapsychic, the endopsychic, okay, internal working model, schema, blueprint, script, intrapsychic society. Forget about subpersonalities. Forget about. Don't use that one. That's very unhelpful. That phrase, I think. Anyway, just some kind of relational units is good, and things are split a little bit. But the baby's gonna things are fragmented due to the trauma, so things are split, and you got different paired units. Sometimes the mother's promising, so you felt allured by that. There's a relational unit. The allured child, the hopeful child, the alluring mother. There's like a unit like that. Now, very often that leads to the next unit. Disappointed, great hope fell. Now you felt rejected by the rejecting mother. Another unit. Sometimes you're crying, and then the mother's nice to you. Okay, that's the rewarding object relations unit called the row rule, meaning when the baby's crying or sad, and then the mother might be nice to him when he's down and out kind of thing. Um, but if the child has initiative and has needs, okay, that's the luring part, then click to the rejecting part. So those are kind of like three core relational units in the mind like that. Okay, so the um, okay, so the rejecting side means um, it's subdivided into the alluring mother, the promising mother, a great hope, but then it fell. So the mother was alluring, enticing. The baby felt excited. Okay, that's like one kind of memory like that. But very often, okay, the mother fails to meet the baby's needs. The baby expected it; he was very hopeful for it, but he got rejected. So that's kind of considered like another kind of unit like that. So the mother's rejecting; he felt rejected. He felt abandoned, shame, no good, and all that stuff. And then if the baby is crying, oh, and then mother's nice. So there's the role rule, the rewarding object relations unit. So, um, okay, I won't do the whole thing about this so-called internal working model like that, but the Masterson talks about it, Fairbairn talks about it, Solani clarifies what Fairbairn says, and you got Guntrip and you got Rinsley and others. Althea Horner's good, and and so on. So that's the premise. The study of all this. So the psychoanalytic perspective or psychoanalysis or object relations theory is the study of the internalization of interpersonal relationships. We study this because from this template, okay, you're going to see your days through that one yesterday. Like you're going to see your life through that template. So you're going to twist and distort and see it through that lens. Okay. Now that's the issue. That's the core issue. Because for the baby, the mother is the world for the baby. For the baby, the mother is the whole world kind of thing. And his experience with the world. That's the prototype, his understanding of how he's going to survive. So he will try to survive with different defense mechanisms: projection, projective identification, identification with the aggressor, okay, reaction formation, okay, okay, there'll be double think going on, unmet needs going on. He'll repeat. So there'll be a little activity going on like that. Okay, so that's in response to the trauma with the mother. And that's his understanding of the world. That's his understanding of himself. That's his understanding of how to survive this world, adapt to this world. And he's stuck with this swirling thing like that. So he's going to go to life swirling this around. So in the present, he just creates it, makes it happen. Self-fulfilling prophecy. If you keep expecting it, you get it because you're still swimming this. So you want to see you're going to see your days through that swimming kind of place. See, that's called trend. You're going to transfer that to the present, so the present is still the past. That part of the brain doesn't know the past. Now, the thing about the ego does split like that. So there is a part of the mind that does let you recognize how to function in the world, pay the bills, and drive a car. You can do these kind of material things. So materially, you kind of understand things. But when it comes to um, the trauma of the loss of your authentic self, okay, your energy in this memory, and you're designed to get a better outcome. So you're relating in the world functionally, but your covert, hidden agenda, your unconscious agenda, is this past, which you're hoping to address, unresolved, unfinished business, get a better outcome, like that. So the present is kind of just whatever you're doing in the present. It's just like a veneer, a cloak for what's really going on underneath, like that. And the thing that's really going on underneath, like that, it's still the thing in the past. So we transfer the past to the present, and in the present you have a cloak called rationalization, excuses, justification, and yes, you understand the present, the present. So you're not like psychotic in that sense because you can function in the world, but your motivation of the purpose of life. Like for example, somebody might want to show up to mother. Sometimes some people are so angry with their mother, they do what's called fiery revenge. Okay, they wanna uh, punish their mother by hurting themselves, and thinking that that's their anger at the mother if they hurt themselves. That's disturbed stuff, very disturbed stuff, right? So that's what we're talking about. This dysfunctional kind of hidden thing that's going on. Or if a person's afraid of happiness because he he that means he's got to let go that his feelings of the mother hurting him. That's a double betrayal. Mother hurt him. He's going to let that go? No, he's holding on to that. He's justified to be angry. So if he's going to be successful, that means he's got to forgive his mother. But if he doesn't know how to do that, doesn't understand how to do that, Right? If you can't do that, um, then to be autonomous means you're gonna um, act as if she didn't hurt you, but that's betraying yourself. Sometimes it's just simple brainwashing that the mother just pounds it into the baby. Look, baby, I need you to take care of me. Mother's rights. You got to take care of me. You got to serve me. I'm not happy in my life, but you'll take care of me and you'll be there for me. You'll respond to me. You'll see me do what I say. I'll feel important. You'll make me feel important. I'll be the center, and you make it everything. I'm gonna make it all about me, and you feed me like this, and you give me your attention, your supply like this, and so the baby's just brainwashed so deeply um, that that's his only link to the mother, to be like that. So he'll be dysfunctional to have that link to the mother. So he'll be afraid of autonomy because he'll lose the link to the mother. And then what? He's going to be reminded of not only not get his needs met with the mother. Well, that's the morning. He's got to mourn the loving mother that should have been there. So if he does initiate, if he does have self agency, he's got to face the pain around not having a loving mother that should have met his needs. That's the mourning process, the grieving process. Ultimately, it is you got to get to that place where you say to yourself, "My mother didn't love me. Oh, cunning tale. She took advantage of the situation. She was in a compulsion to get her needs met. She didn't get the blissfulness with her mother, so she turned to the baby for that." So go to the Solani quotes recently. Oh my God, the Solani quotes in the past two videos, the three quotes by no, the four quotes by Solani. Yeah, the four quotes by Solani recently done. Read those together. That's a good little kind of sum up of this issue there. But in the grieving process, you got to reach that ultimate place. Why didn't my mother love me? Why didn't she love me? My mother didn't love me. Holy, you know what, right? Oh my God. Um, Now, when we use that word, we mean from the baby's perspective. If his needs don't get met, he's enraged, terrified. Okay? The imagery is now his mother's a monster. If the baby's fighting with now the mother, we're not saying the mother's a monster. The baby creates a picture to hold his projected feelings, his feelings of rage and oral grief. That's the monster. It's in relation to the mother, but that's the picture that it's a compromise on the baby's end to not get too much stress hormones from his brain so it's a little trick like that, a defense mechanism. He's protecting himself. So he creates an image of a monster like that, and then thinks his mother's that. It's sort of a little trick like that called projection. So if the baby thinks his mother is a monster that wants to eat him, a boar queen, a cyclops, a sea monster, an alien, guy with the horns, take your pick, any kind of frightening monster that's angry and wants to gobble you up, that motif is very common. Um, So Wicked Witch, which is a common one, Hansel and Gretel, and so on. So in Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch says to the monkeys, "Come on, monkeys, go get her," and we don't see her trying to eat her or cook her. That's an image of the baby's feelings. That's not real. See that thing, those images like that. That's an image of how the baby felt. So when Dorothy threw water on the witch, that image you unravel that image and disperse that image. It poops away because you put your feelings. You sucked out you brought up your feelings about that image. You exhumed your feelings that were there for that image, because your feelings got pressed down. The image is there. You bring up your feelings. The image poops away. So she threw water. Water is a symbol of feelings. It flows. Water, emotion, emotion. Water flows. Waves, waves, emotion. So they throw water. Then the image poops away. So when you get back your feelings around it, okay, um, then there's a freedom, there's a release. You know, you're free from that. You emancipate yourself from mental slavery, sings Bob Marley, right? So if the baby thinks his mother's a monster and all that, I'm really curious to play this video back tonight to see if you can if it really blots out all the background noises. If you're not hearing like loud background noises, normally you'd hear a loud. Um, there's a waterfall below me, and it's pretty kind of loud usually. Um, so that's the what would normally be there with the old phone, um, and just a combination of hundreds of other noises, just all blended and meshed in. But the main noise is the water one, right? Yeah, this one there, those two fountains there, yeah. To my surprise, that's pretty noisy, eh? You wouldn't think so, right? Um, yeah, where are we here? Yeah, okay. So we were just talking about this idea that the mother didn't love the baby. What an incredible thing to suggest. What a thing someone's got to say to themselves. My mother did love me, but to believe it and feel it and know that that's the case. Now, when we mean it like that, we mean we got the truth that the mother was impaired. She couldn't love. She would have if she could have. She tried her best, kind of thing. She didn't have the psychic structure to love. She didn't have, i.e., her beingness to love. If there's no beingness, if there's no either, how can she love? If there's no either of her eye, if her eye is missing, how can she love? The psychic structure needed to love is that a person's got to love the baby, but there's no person there. She's got the false mirage personality that she thinks she is. She's got a false self, but she needs a true self to love. If she's got no true self, she can't love. So, from the baby's point of view, okay, he's enraged by all this and thinks the mother's a monster. So, from that point of view, we say that that mother really couldn't love the baby. She didn't love the baby. So we mourn the loving mother that was supposed to be there, that was supposed to have been there. And then, if you can accept that kind of truth, okay, um, well, to get to that point where you do accept that kind of truth, you got to do several things leading up to that. Number one, you got to face oppositional thinking. Okay, the baby does a thing called splitting either or in his mind. Okay, that means there's no beingness. Um, so, okay, that takes a while to go through the what is splitting one, but anyways, if somebody has jungle slogan thinking, adversarial thinking, oppositional thinking, either or thinking, black or white thinking, prejudicial thinking, my greed or your greed, these kind of simplistic either or mentality about things and people in life like that. Okay, that means the etiology, the underpinning of that is that the baby had no loving mother. Saw her as a monster? No, my mother cannot be a monster. That's something else. Make up a goddess. Oh, there's a goddess. Oh, that'll be my mother. And you keep it separate. It's separate. So there's like two entities there. No human mother. You got two separate imaginations like that. So, and that's related to yourself as well. So that means there's no loving mother. So you didn't get mother's love to be yourself, to separate from her because there's no mother there. If there's no psychological egg, how do you hatch out and leave her and be yourself if there's no oneness with the mother? So because there's no oneness with the mother, because there's the baby deals with that trauma, relational trauma, interpersonal trauma, developmental trauma, attachment trauma. He deals with this with the splitting mechanism. Mother's a monster? No, that's not my mother. Mother's a goddess. Okay, it's a lie, but I'll take that to survive. Okay, and then that means you don't have your beingness. That means you don't mourn. You don't have your identity. Okay, that you're not embodied. You're not going to make sense. Okay, you don't have your feelings. So if the trauma is before 18 months, there won't even be gratitude. There won't have the person won't have the ability to like know what he did and to feel bad about, so he can apologize. So he can't even apologize about anything. He has this bitter, narcissistic, greedy entitlement that it's all about him. Greed, all about him. He's entitled, envious. If there's a loss, denial, contempt, sour grapes, who cares? Didn't need him anyway. He has this he has this survival jungle slogan mentality. So his amygdala is flared up. His beingness is missing. The amygdala only cares about survival. The amygdala, okay, and the limbic system or the old brain, whatever you call it, the salamander brain, the iguana brain, the chameleon brain, the gecko brain, the dinosaur brain, those kind of creatures like that. Those creatures, we nicknamed that part of the brain after those creatures because those creatures likewise only care about the instinct of reproduction and survival. There's no love or feeling or play or creativity or generativity or delight. Like there's nothing like that, right? With those creatures, and that part of the brain is kind of like that. It just thinks a little bit like that. It's just about reproduction and survival, mainly survival, right? And the reproduction, so you're surviving, you're passing on but it's just that kind of area, very simplistic area. So that mind only cares about jungle slogans, my greedy or greed. Um, either if I'm not going to be the one person might say, if I'm not going to be greedy, well, the image in my mind of my mother's going to eat me, need to be eaten. I better be greedy, or my mother's greedily is going to eat me. It doesn't make sense. It's psychotic stuff. The Shrieks call it perverse thinking or psychotic thinking. It's this, but nobody sees it. It's all hidden. It's all hidden under a cloak, a camouflage, a blanket of lies, known special kind of lie known as rationalization or self-justification or self-deception, because these kind of clever lies, these flim-flammery, duplicitous, tricky little lies, that they're designed to create beliefs and ideas um, that present you as reasonable, present you and make you sound reasonable and non-psychotic as a cloak to hide the under issue of being psychotic. So the mother is actually psychotic, shaming, thinking the baby's her mother, and the mother's angry at her baby, and she's fighting with her baby, think, baby, you're my mother. I hate you, baby. I hate you, mother. The baby's thinking, mother, hold the phone here. Oh my God, I'm not your mother back then, and I'm not my grandmother. What are you doing here? Are you psychotic or something? I'm your baby. I'm not your mother. Baby, the mother has some justification, some cloak. What are you talking about? But you're too small to understand anything. Mother knows best. Society always says it every day. Mother knows best. I know best. Okay, brainwashing. So, okay, so she has a handy, convenient way to always cover her cruelty like that, or her psychotic behavior, psychotic thinking like that. How's the baby going to fight back with that? Mother, no, really, seriously. I'm your baby. Yeah, yeah, of course, baby. I get that you're my baby. So what's the problem? Well, you're not meeting my needs here. You're kind of angry towards me. I don't know what you're talking about. Gaslighting. Why are you gaslighting me, mother? What's gaslight? I never heard of that. What's this psychobabble? It's just some stupid old movie about some criminal psychopath robbing a woman or something. What do you got? No, no, it's a phenomenon. You're gaslighting me. That term means I have a reality. You're telling me I don't have this reality, and you want me to believe I don't have this reality. You want me to believe I don't have needs. You want me to believe I don't have feelings. And then I end up thinking I'm so numb and confused. I end up thinking I don't have these needs and feelings, and that's how you get away with being a robber like that. You rob me of my soul or something. Like the film guy. Oh, what are you talking about, baby? The mother can find any thousands of excuses for her negative behavior towards the baby. She can say, "Well, I never got love, so I don't know how to love. So um, there's my excuse. So I'll just look. It's not healthy." The mother might say, "It's not healthy for me to keep so much tension in me. I got to blow off steam here. It's my baby. So what's the problem? We're family. So we're dysfunctional. So what? Everybody's dysfunctional." Well, that's a rationalization. You're trying to make it sound reasonable. Just because so many families are dysfunctional doesn't mean it's right. It's right like that. Oh, come on, baby. When you grow up, you're going to watch TV. All the things you see on TV are dysfunctional. The Carol Burnett show, all those sitcoms, they're all dysfunctional, basically. Well, that doesn't mean that's educational. It's meant to be a mirror for us to see that we're dysfunctional, so we can, look in the mirror and heal ourselves. It's not meant to normalize it and say that's the norm. It's meant to be a mirror. Oh, baby, where'd you get this idea from? I'm okay. I'm feeling a little. Yeah, I'm feeling a little. Uh, uh, what's the? I'm feeling a little slightly uncomfortable because I got several, like a half a dozen of sort of just just to my side there, like about half a dozen people doing their work on their laptops. This is a workplace thing. I'm not a member of this thing, but they're members, so I'm assuming they're members and they can use the main facility. I'm in sort of the waiting room part, constant waiting. Back to the song by Lunik, Constant Tourist. She said, like, in her, so back to the baby. Hey, mother, I feel like I'm in the waiting room all the time. Why can't I enter into a relationship with you? Why can't I be in your home, like warm home together? Why can't I be in? Why can't you? Let me have my real home, and you feed me like this. Why am I outside like a tourist in the waiting room? Where's the train to love? Like what? So I'm kind of in the waiting section. Um, they have a deal here. If you buy a drink, they let you sit in this outside part. But the proper membership, it's a huge fee. It's like renting an office kind of thing. It's like a fancy club gym membership or something. You pay a monthly fee or something. So I'm yeah. These guys, they must be running some kind of business of some kind. I don't know. It's ironic that I have to come to a busier part of town to find a place where I can do the video. It's not funny. Let's just take a little. Let me just take a little musical breather here. I'm not really fully um, energized. What shall we play here? Yeah, I got my song thing here. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Oh, self saboteur. That's a live one, so it might not really come up too much. There's the constant tourist one. Okay, why don't we just play the first part of constant tourist? Um, I gotta plug this back in. I'll just play the first part of Lunik's constant tourist song. Hold on a sec. Oh, what's going on? What happened? Plugged in? No. Sometimes the cord doesn't. I'm using very budget. Oh, here we go.
Forehead is says, don't touch, taste, but don't swallow. My heart has been your playground. You never ask, you never apologize. I was standing outside powerless, watching you fade away. You've always been out of reach. By your side, I always felt stuck in a waiting room. Didn't ever catch the train another land. I was running, running, running without leaving. I guess until this I have been over. You're my deepest cut.
So these quotes are helping us to move towards no longer feeling like a constant tourist to ourselves. We may feel like a constant tourist to ourselves, not at home within, not having that kind of home feeling within ourselves, like estranged from ourselves, alienated from ourselves, in the waiting room from ourselves. Where's our home? You want to get the home back to yourselves, or the soul back in the body. Some people say. So again, when psychology uses the word soul, they mean the beingness. You want to get your beingness back in the body. Okay, so Snow White comes back, Rapunzel comes back, okay, Echo comes back, Solvit comes back, okay, and so on and so on. Joy and Sadness come back, the Golden Ball comes back, the beingness comes back. In the Maiden King, the princess morphed into a swan and flew away, so the swan came back, flipped back to the princess, and they were embodied again. Okay, this just symbols for the beingness. So Snow White and etc. These are personifications of our beingness. a symbol of our beingness. A picture or symbol, it's not real, but it points to something that we don't see, but it's real, but it's invisible. The symbol we see, but it's not real, but it's visible. So, but it points to the important thing. It's what's real and invisible, and that's it flew away. So swan flew away. It's supposed to be person. So this person, swan flew away. Swan back to person, and you feel your beingness. See in Snow White in the coma, or whatever it is. There's a wall, a glass wall there, so you don't feel your beingness into you. There's a glass wall there, like you. That's the wall. Like you don't feel because your feelings are in the box, and there's a wall to your feelings, your beingness and your feelings. So, and to boot, your beingness is in a coma as well. That's Rapunzel's maybe a little better off because she's alive and she's got the gold there, so she's not in a coma like that. But you still got to get her back. You still got to free her like that. You know.
The wound doesn't bleed anymore. Now the scar hurts. Oh, I was standing outside powerless, watching you fade away. You've always been out of reach. By your side, I always felt stuck in a waiting room. Didn't ever catch the train or lava land. I was running, running, running without leaving. Because the tourist I have been in your world.
Okay, so anyways, usually at midlife, people recognize very commonly. People recognize that this phenomena that that they've been in a swoon, they've been in a trance, they've been in a hypnoid state, going through the motions, sleepwalking through life, drunk in life, whatever, going through the motions of life, driving, paying the bills, driving the car, but unknowingly, what's going on is they're what's motivating them is an unconscious wish to repeat the past, to know what happened in the past, to have the hope that something in the present is symbolic of mother can be mother in the past, that maybe if you protest and show your anger at what your mother did to you, maybe there'll be a magical time machine and you'll get a better past. Your mother will apologize, you get a better past. So you're going through life for the first half of life with these unconscious hopes, unreal hopes, false beliefs, unreal hopes. Someday, I'm guilty. While others will play me and I'll shame them, that's my protest to show what my mother did to me because I made the Faustian deal, the Faustian bargain called dedication with aggressive. So you're going in the first half of life a little bit not making sense like this. Um, you know, but usually at midlife, it comes up. It comes up at midlife. So a person might simply say something's missing, something's off. Where's the pleasure? Where's the joy? Where's the meaning? They're not mourning losses. They're not mourning losses. Well, there's no beingness there to mourn a loss. There might have been a divorce, and somebody said to himself, "Am I not supposed to feel sad? Is there something wrong with me? Why don't I feel sad? All the dreams and all the investment, and lost the home and family, kids, and the whole works. Don't Shouldn't they feel sad by it? They can't. They can't. That's the issue. That brings it to your attention. Something's wrong here. Okay? The beingness is missing. So something's missing. The beingness is missing. So you need the beingness to mourn. So that might be one entryway. Robert Bly's sort of the key lead on this. Grief is the doorway to your identity and feelings. All of the tears for which you praise, 100 tears away, sings Vonda Shepherd in our soundtrack played yesterday. Um, commonly, it's just some kind of hunch that you're sleepwalking through life. Life is passing me by. You might feel like you're living the provisional life, the unlived life. What's going on here? That you're in this swoon, this hypnotic state kind of thing. Um, so, but so then that would be like an initiation. That'd be like the call, so to speak. So now you begin the audit. You begin the midlife audit, the midlife examination period. That's called the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell. Okay, the second journey in midlife by Alan Shinnon. Doesn't matter. Okay, whatever phrase you want to use. It's this new. The shrinks call it adult development, where at midlife you do this audit about your development. You see, if your development in the feeling place, in the beingness place, is frozen, you're stuck. You're stuck. You're still stuck in that place. And then when you're in your 80s, you're still stuck in that place. The guy in the nursing home is still in the nursery, they said. So you do this kind of audit, you do this kind of survey. If you, the lawyer guy calls it a survey, a life survey. Fine, life audit. So then you uh, be a detective. You be a detective. Then you start reading and then you know investigating kind of thing. So um, a good place to start is 1001 Windmills of the Mind. I really believe that now. I more and more feel more confident to say that. There's an amazing quotes here. Very hard to underappreciate, like the quotes are doing now, the quotes that we're starting now by Anne Teachworth from her book called Why We Pick the Mates We Do. It's not that well known. It's a little well known, but it's not really like it's not fully well known. That's an excellent little book. So we'll be doing a 3 video special run on the work of Anne Teachworth, that book there. It's very analytic. She's even got like a 3 chair exercise to help you out in the thing. And we did 14 videos on the work of Alan Golem, her 2 books called Trapped in the Mirror and Unloved Again. That's also analytic. The work of Arthur Janoff, very clear writer. We did 26 videos at the beginning of this year, um, 2024. So that's 27, 45 to 70. Those 26 videos, very clear like that, and so on. We have a lot of like clear um, authors, and that's what's really unique about this collection. These quotes are clear. No Jung, no Lacan, of course, no Freud because of the disturbed translation issue. Um, there's one exception with Freud. Masterson said the essay "Memory Repeating and Working Through" is okay. So there's one quote from there, but other than that, if a German author says Freud says such and such, and they're a German speaker and they speak English, then that's okay. We'll include those. So that's why we don't have Freud. Although let me do a quick sidebar here. This morning, part of the reason I got on such a late day today. Um, hold on a second.
They wonder why I was thinking to stay so long. Oh, and I really just like
Well, this thing with the music's working out for me. If I needed like a little few second break, I can turn on the music. Oh, I got to turn on the speaker. I don't know how to keep the speaker on because it keeps shutting down. Yeah, okay, let's do this little sidebar here, because I was okay. In that case, this video is going to be in 2 parts. I won't run through the quotes today. I'll just do part one as sort of this introductory kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll take the pressure off because it's already 8:04 here. So yeah, okay, this will be in 2 parts. Um, so let me just use this part one to talk about a film, an old science fiction film I just discovered this morning. So I was just skimming around a bit, and I know some shrink made a comment about a film called Forbidden Planet, 1956. It was supposedly like the first major full production, like a lot of money put in to make a science fiction film. Um, I never heard of it, to tell you the truth. I think I seen pictures of it or something. But the comment of the author was, "Gee, that's a very Freudian film." He said, "Really? Whoa, okay." So I've been looking around for the film. I can't find it. It's not. Can you believe it? 80-year-old film. You can't find it. So just a bunch of clips. You see a few clips, and I'm looking for what others have said about it. So, anyways, this will be updated. But the one, but what he meant, but what that guy meant about the thing being Freudian. Luckily, there is a clip from the film about it. So I wanted to comment on this actually. So it's a science fiction. You're on another planet, right? And get this, for 200, if I understand it correctly, I may be wrong. Question mark. I'll update it. So you go to this other planet. So by the way, it's all a metaphor. I'm talking about metaphor. Oh yeah, we talked about the 3 faces of Eve yesterday. If you're interested in the film, The 3 Faces of Eve, starring Joanne Wood 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 something. Uh, Wood. Uh, whatever. Sorry, she won the Academy Award. Joanne, for Pete's sake, Wood something, Worth something, Woodward, Woodward, Wood, Woody. For Archie. Um, anyways, she. So I spent. It was okay. I played it back. Actually, to my surprise, it wasn't too bad. As I was saying it, boy, I'm really been doing a clumsy job with it. Actually, it turned out to be okay. If you want an interpretation of the three Eves of the three faces of Eve, um, it's a metaphor that we need a conscious mind. So that's Jane. One of the faces of Eve is Jane, okay, meaning the adult mind, the conscious mind. Okay, the splitting, the psychic splitting was black and white. They even call it black and white. Eve black, Eve white, Eve black. Two different personalities like that. So that's within like that. So the personality around um, the wounded child side, she's a defeated, lonely, sad housewife. Okay, that's the Jane, the Eve white one. Now, identification with the aggressor, the rebellious, so the anger and the rage and all that, that's the rebellion. Um, the Eve Black one, so she was the naughty one or all this. But these were unconscious. That's not a healthy life to live unconscious under the water like that. Meaning, you want to arc. You want to be in the present, not live unconsciously, compulsively repeating one of those two. Or one way to do it is you're in denial. That's the white one, and your repressed feelings is the Eve one, and that comes out like that. That's also not healthy. It might make you sick or something, um, or it might make you lead to the BPD personality pattern. Um, so we're not going with the multiple. That's just a vehicle to uh, a symbol for the message. So the message was in the conclusion. She went to therapy. Okay, they made a joke about the therapy. Just some pompous guy smoking a cigar nonstop, blowing smoke the whole time. There's no real lines or script for him. So, but they just wanted to say, well, there's Mr. Freud or something. Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. But the idea was she was in therapy for 3 years or something, and suddenly um, Jane came up, a reasonable, intelligent, calm, pleasant, mature kind of person. Okay. And then in the hypnosis, um, hey, where's the other two? They're gone. They're gone. So you want to build the ego. You want to build the adult arc. Robert Bly thinks the arc, like Noah builds the arc. We got to build our conscious mind, our Jane mind, our ego mind, being in the present. So identify those two, the either or. You want to synthesize them. Um, they said they should dialogue, they should befriend each other. Fine, you want to integrate them, put them together. Kind of, if you put them together, you create a new that includes the both, but it's not either or, it's both and. So Jane is a new thing that's both and the previous either or, black or white, is disappears. So you want to get same like Inside Out. At the conclusion of Inside Out 2, you saw the flip flop either or. And then the new thing came up, and she had her beingness back. She was embodied. She won the scholarship because she was calm. She was reasonable. She was mature. Her teammates felt calm. Everyone's calm. They think better. They're a better team. So she was happy like that. Okay, so for a discussion on the film, The Three Faces of Eve, um, a little tidbit. I didn't know this. The actress Joanne Wood something. Oh, what's her name again? What something with Wood in it, or Worth or Ward or okay, I forgot her last name. Sorry. Um, in a follow-up movie, in a redo of that movie called Sybil, um, someone else played the, the traumatized one, and Joanne something played the shrink in that film. It was very good like that. So she was a client in the first film, then she became a shrink in the second film. A nice little thing that. But yeah, so I want to just comment on this science fiction film. Just saw a couple clips of it. So it's called Forbidden Planet, 1956. It won an award for the special effects. So they went all in with the special effects. And yeah, from the clip you can see it's very impressive. Um, Considering it's 1956, uh, whoa, it's really quite convincing and very um, so anyways, so my first tentative question mark is, so there's a planet out there. There's some unknown planet out there, um, and the idea was that for 200,000 years, interesting, for 200,000 years, for 200,000 years, this planet was basically a self-sustaining, massive machine that corrected itself, that functioned on its own, that updated itself, and it just kept going for 200,000 years. Right? Okay, that's a symbol for the unconscious, right? Humanity's unconscious. So we came on the scene 200,000 years ago, and we developed an unconscious. So that's a symbol for the unconscious. How everybody, how humans have had an unconscious for 200,000 years. This automatic self, this automatic independent thing, kind of thing. So this planet is run by this massive machine network. I don't know all the like the story details, but on the planet, it's basically a guy named Mobius. Sounds like Morpheus because I think in ancient Greece, one version of Hermes. Um, there's another character called Morpheus who can do the thing that Hermes does, which is deliver your dreams to you. Like when you wake up in the morning, usually it's Hermes. Hey, you. Here's a message from your unconscious. Here's a letter from you. I'm delivering a letter from your unconscious world, the primary world, your dream world, your lower consciousness. And when you wake up, that's your conscious one. So, and there's a little message for you. So you remember something when you wake up. That's like a little, like a letter from your soul to you. And this letter was delivered to you by Hermes. I just learned that Morpheus can also do that function. So he was also called Morbius. So you got this Morbius guy living alone on this planet with his daughter. I think the mother died when she was born or something. That's another clue to it being like a fairy tale type of thing. The mother died at birth, right? Okay, so there's this planet, and they got this lonely scientist on there and his daughter like that. That's about it, I think. Were there others there? I don't remember. I don't know yet. Okay, now, so since this whole planet is kind of like the unconscious, if there's any kind of threat to the planet, the unconscious will send up these little monsters to deal with that kind of thing. They were called the id monsters. There's the Freudian idea. The id monsters. The id monsters. Yeah, I want to update this. Hang on here. Um, so Morbius and his daughter got the visitors, the travelers from Earth, right? A little team, like a crew from Earth or something, and so they landed on there. And now at that point, um, the Morbius didn't think of them as a threat or something, so they welcomed them in. But after a little while, Morbius feels, oh, they're a threat here, because he felt threatened by them or something. Um, the planet sent up these monsters. Uh-oh. Exposure is locked. Son of a gun. I don't know how to fix this. Goddamn. It's, I've had this thing. It blinks. It just keeps blinking around all the time. Plus, I got this huge red record button blinking all the time. I don't mind the time thing blinking, but this red light blinking. It's a very kind of simple design. Let me get used to it. Okay. So so the human guy, or the captain, or whatever, was trying to explain to Morbius, look, there's danger. There's some kind of danger here. All these id monsters are running around here. Yeah, I don't quite figure that out. What is that? Well, your pride and all this, your narcissistic pride here. Okay, you're a scientist. You're such a genius guy and all this. Um, and we're learning about you and all this. You feel a little threatened or something. So you're linked to this planet, this unconscious planet. So this massive machine planet is a symbol for a person's unconscious. Now, when a person's narcissistic pride is injured or something, narcissistic injury is like a narcissistic rage. Okay? If all you have is neurotic pride, false pride, narcissistic pride, and somebody questions you about it, that pokes a hole in your false pride like that, you might get angry. So in your unconscious, there's going to be anger like that. So the symbol of this anger were these it monsters like that, and they were banging on the wall, and then the clip ended. I couldn't see the rest of it. But the line in that clip was, when your egocentric um, little empire, he said, like, of the mind, right? Narcissistic empire of the mind. You think you're so great. When that feels threatened or something, then your unconscious, okay, this whole planet, machine planet or something, sends up the id monsters. I thought, okay, wow, that's pretty good. So I think that might be a symbolic of narcissistic injury and narcissistic rage. Okay, so if somebody has narcissism and they're not, and they gotta learn the truth about something, or someone understands them or something, uh, they're vulnerable, right? So they might be they might feel like vulnerable, like they were vulnerable with the mother, and they were going to be a goner, so they were enraged like that. So he became enraged. So more, the planet is the unconscious for more BS. So when he felt enraged, the unconscious sent up the monsters. So these monsters are not. We gotta don't think. We gotta stop thinking of them in terms of beasts and monsters like that. You know, all it means is that you didn't mourn. You didn't mourn the loss of the loving mother. Your needs weren't met. You were enraged. So this kind of rage like that, you symbolize it like a monster like that. That just means you were hurt. Your beingness. Your mother didn't soothe you and comfort you, and she wasn't tender and sweet with you and kind to you. She wasn't present, and she didn't have her consideration and her respect and her regard and her loving, delightful at your presence. And she's so delighted and so beautifully welcomes you. You missed all that basic stuff. You missed the Garden of Eden, the Shambhala, the Shangri-La, the Paradise. So the beingness froze up. You get a narcissistic structure, personality structure. Your unconscious is very powerful like that, like the planet's powerful. Everybody's got an unconscious. So all it means is that if your defensive structure is poked at somehow, right, that's why the defense is there, because you can't feel the pain of it. So you create a shield called neurotic pride or narcissistic uh, attitudes, something like that. Now that when that comes into question, which the visitors were doing, that's just like how anybody gets enraged when they're not the center of attention, when they're not important or respected. Yeah, so you see this in any kind of TV show like that. So in the Carol Burnett show, um, there's an episode called "Visit from Dan." I just saw "Visit from Dan," right? So Carol Burnett played a woman called Eunice. Eunice got a phone call and learned that her husband is going to leave her for the waitress, and they're off on an airplane to Mexico. So she's now going to end up being a single mother. She's got no work skills. She was a housewife. What's she going to do? Her life fell apart. Her dreams and all that fell apart. So she was distraught and crying about this. Okay, so she needed it to be about her in the room. Wait a minute, the mother's in the same room. You mean it's not about me? She's enraged at this. So she twisted the situation to make it about her. So she was angry for a while, and don't talk about you, talk about me. You know, that ex-husband of yours, yeah, yeah, he insulted me. How dare he insult me? She made it about him. And she said to her, I can't believe this, mother. My life just fell apart here, and you're worried about and you're now center stage about some little thing he said about you. Well, I told you he's no good, and now you're making it about you that you were right. Now's the time to tell me and rub it in that you were right. Really, you want to make it all about you that you're the star, that you were right. So this mother had to make everything about her. So the reason that mother is always shouting and angry all the time, because she's demanding. She always said, "Give me respect. You got to respect me. You got to respect me." She always said. But if she's supposed to give, she can't do it because she's the center. It's got to be about her. So the daughter needed the mother to give to her. She freaked out and attacked her. So the poor daughter had to crawl up on the sofa into the fetal position, thinking she's going to go back into the uterus. Where's the safe place? My God! And she tried to laugh it off with jokes and all that. Now the visitor Dan, he's sort of a stranger in the scene. He tried to be a little helpful. He said, "Well, while one door closes, another door opens." And it's funny about these breakups because this is a time where you reclaim and find new parts of yourself. You'll discover parts of yourself you didn't know, and you'll become the wild, free creature that you always meant to be or something. Now, at that point, the mother jumped in and cut the guy off and said, "Hey, I don't know what kind of planet you came on here, Mr. Dan here. What are you doing here? You can't help my daughter to be free. Her purpose is to serve me, my rights. She's got to take care of me. You can't give her freedom. You can't give her like that." So it was. So again, the mother had to make sure she got her narcissistic supply. So the mother had a kind of energetic inner unconscious, her attitude like a little id monster, just this angry little. You could say like the thing she's doing is kind of like little id monsters in her, compelling her to do this. So these id monsters destroy things, and so you don't have to take it literally. What you see on the planet, it's just like a metaphor for personal dynamics. As above, so below. It's a reflection of our inner state. Like that. So yeah, I think from what I saw, the Forbidden Planet, it is Freudian. It is psychological. It reminds me of the Warehouse 13 show, that the whole massive warehouse like that keep, kept expanding, all this power in it. Well, and the head guy was, what's his name again? Um, the guy with the curly hair, sorry, the beard and the curly hair, glasses. Guy's got glasses, a little heavy set kind of guy or something. They said at one point the warehouse was his unconscious, and because he's getting older, the unconscious got bigger and bigger or something. It got wider and wider. So the line was, what was it again? So Morbius, you're not aware of this, but when your egocentric pride is threatened, your unconscious sends up these id monsters, and they're banging on the door now to get rid of me, I guess, the Earthling visitors. And they're dangerous to you. They might get rid of you too. You don't know that. So So the Earth visitors want to protect themselves from Mr. Morbius's id monsters. So that's just uh, a way of saying that you don't want to offend, you know, somebody who's very wounded or something, who's very shelled off with armor like that. They might shout at you or something. That's the id monster. The shouting is their little mini id monster like that. So you want to protect yourself from that. And the id monster will attack the person, of course, but it's also hurtful for the person. It's not healthy for the person to let their unconscious run the show, so to speak, too much. Oh yeah, okay. So there's a point, yeah. So do you have your unconscious, or does your unconscious have you? So the image is the little boy playing the flute, riding on a water buffalo. So that's a symbol that our energies of the unconscious serve us, and we communicate and have a line of communication with the flute. The little boy is like the ego, but the bull, the water buffalo, is the power of the body, the energy in the body, and the unconscious there. So the boy um, can guide the buffalo, go, turn left, turn right. So it serves you like that. If the boy doesn't have this rapport, this communication link like that, then the water buffalo will maybe kick the boy off or run wild or something. So maybe that's another point there. That point when the id monsters are banging on the, they were going to bang the door down or something. Um, maybe that's like, maybe Morbius is going to get kicked off the water buffalo. That's what he was maybe trying to say. Okay. Yeah. Let me. I'm kind of tired. Let me wrap it up here. So we'll jump into 2941 in the next video. So 41 to 3 is going to be on the work of Anne Teachworth, and her book Why We Pick the Mates We Do. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new land, but in seeing with new eyes. See, there's another thing about why isn't that movie easily available on YouTube or something? It's such an ancient, old, classic film. Seriously, well, if see there's a little bit of a psychoanalysis in there. There seems to be a kind of a campaign to not let people be aware of this, because the advertising people use need don't want you to want to have more power over you, right? I mean, just the phrase "id monster," just him saying that "id monster," people might look that up. Id, what's the id? The energy of your unconscious. Whoa. Okay, another thing is about that show. It's not meant to be. We're not meant to think that the id monsters are actually like against you or something. It's just like you're still crying, like you're just crying, but the baby's kicking and crying. But in an adult body, it can be destructive, obviously. So no mother who has a crying baby is going to say that the baby is a monster, right? That's nonsense. So that'd be like a parallel analogy. I think it's a mistake to call these monsters, like these id monsters, monsters. No mother would call her baby a little mini monster or something, right? Maybe it's a human being with needs, a vulnerable, trusting human being with needs. Mother, I trust you. I trust you. Please don't betray me. Please don't gaslight me and double bind me. Don't do your tricks on me. Don't do your lies and games. Don't do your drama soap opera stuff. Don't do this hateful thing on me. What are you doing, mother? I'm not, I can't process that for you. I can't entertain you like that. I can't let you feel important and shame you with this. You're hurting me by doing it. Mother, I have basic needs. I have basic, simple needs. And I need to feel safe. I want you to see me and soothe me and be there for me. And just, that's it. And just be present for me and let me feel safe with you so I can grow. And then if I have questions, maybe you say, okay, um, maybe do a little improv with me, share what you know about it, like support my growing, support my learning, and be okay that I'll be autonomous. Let me go through this developmental process. That's not asking too much, mother, is it? Now, the baby's needs don't get met. He's scared, he's angry. He's not a monster, he's just expressing the pain of not getting his needs met. Anger is an expression of unmet needs. Feelings and needs. When needs are met, we feel pleasant. Needs unmet, we feel distressed and all that. It's not a monster. Maybe Robert Bly would say about the New Age people, they're very much into denial. They're very much into magical thinking, infantile thinking, looking for oneness and looking for the blissful feeling that they didn't get, and not be aware that it's a psychological issue. Just indulge in the childlike fantasy. Well, you're denying the truth. You're denying the truth. You're denying the truth. So that's a lot of pain and anger like that. It's not a monster. It's the accumulation of all your repressed feelings. So you're betraying yourself like this. So it can come to you in the form of a verbal outburst, all this dysfunctional family, all the shouting in dysfunctional families, or it can come in the form of a psychosomatic symptom. The body bears the burden. Now you got a psychosomatic symptom, or it can make you lead a dysfunctional life, or make you addicted to something, you know. Those people still there. Oh, they're all still there, right? I didn't realize there's a whole sort of like a night team, a night thing where a lot of people do their work at night. Maybe it's the time zone thing. Maybe that's what it is. Huh? Maybe they're working online across the time zone. Well, let's get the speaker about. No, jeez, what a miserable speaker. It takes forever to turn the thing on, eh? My goodness. Oh my goodness, you got to be kidding. No. Let's try again. Is that on? Oh, here we go. All right. Uh, this is a very lazy video. I didn't cover much material this time around. Oh boy. Yeah. Saved by Love by Rick Emmett. Or If You Won't Leave Me, I'll Find Somebody Who Will by Warren Zevon. Katie Lee. Katie Lee. Anne Shell. Santos. Delirium. Okay, Delirium. Yeah. Okay, let's play a Delirium's a song called Self Saboteur. So our unawareness of ourselves, that's what the problem. We're self-sabotaging because we're not aware of ourselves. Like if you're If you're seeing the present as the past, you're not happy in the present. If you're still waiting for your father to protect you from the abusive mother, to guide you and show you and protect you, you're still waiting. That's dysfunctional. Or you're still loyal to the mother, hoping that one day a pint of ice cream will be her sweetness back in the nursery. So we're self-sabotaging ourselves with this loyalty to the timelessness of that trauma. So it's our unawareness. It's our unawareness that's the issue. So let's close up with Self Saboteur by the band Delirium. Great little song.
No one wins at this game. Throwing knives in your face. And even though you're lying down, you're biting in a war zone between the world and your brain. What can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see? You are your own worst enemy. You are what you despise. Blame instantly of compromise. Anger is your bow and arrow. It's better than a shield for your sorrow. When nothing's hurting inside. What can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see? You are your own worst enemy. All the good things you have, always end up with someone, and you think that they all the big plans you made will explode and you'll suffocate from the anger you
Okay, so thanks very much. I'll see you in part two where we will begin in on the work of Ann Teachworth's book, Why We Pick the Mates We Do. Excellent self-help book, a great book. I thought it's a great book. So we'll talk about her theory about the couple imprint, where the child role models himself after one of his parents, and then when he grows up, he's going to choose how that role model parent chose. So he'll end up with a partner with the personality of one of his parents, basically. Typically, if the firstborn is a daughter, she'll choose how the father chose. So she ends up marrying a man with her mother's personality. If the first kid is a son, okay, he'll model his personality, so to speak, after the mother. Meaning, when he grows up, okay, he'll choose a woman with the personality of his father, because he's going to choose how the mother chose. The mother chose a fellow with a certain personality. You imitate that, so you end up marrying a woman with your father's personality, and the first daughter. So the shortcut is, if the firstborn is a daughter, or if the firstborn is a son, in those two cases, women marry their mothers, and men marry their fathers. Meaning, men are going to marry a woman with the personality of their father, and a woman is going to marry a man with the personality of their mother, because the template's still there. Oh, because the template is still there. The template is still there, and you haven't left that home, so you recreate it because you're still there. So it's not about choosing the mate you think you want or something. You're just going to choose how one of your parents chose, and so you end up with the other parent, a person with the personality of the other parent. Oh my goodness, you got to keep it. I better keep an eye on my bagging. Oh, I've got some Logan berries. So they got Logans are in season. Yeah, those are great. I'm really excited. Um, the little, well, you know what they are. Logan, look, that's the only thing I have in my bag of value. The Logan berries. Yeah, they're great. Okay. Yeah. So the key example coming up is that the woman, um, really doesn't like her mother. She said she even left home. She left home, um, to get away from her mother. Oh, son of a gun! There's somebody already standing right beside my bag. I looked at it and they walked off. Oh my God! Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Oh my God! Let me go near my bag. Oh my God! Okay, let's go here. 1 second. Oh, the venue's closing. Oh, the whole thing is closing here. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, hang on. Where's the thought? Hang on. What time is this? Hey, it's 8:45. They're closing. Oh. Oh, the mall closes at 10, right? Oh, so lighting is the lighting here okay? So if you click the more link, you'll see the example below. The woman who married her mother 4 times in a row, and she said, "You got to be kidding me! I keep trying to find a man who's warm-hearted and friendly, not some demanding, controlling, possessive mother, but she has this compulsion, this unconscious compulsion, to marry a man who has the same personality like her mother. Why? Because she only has the imprint, this seared in, burned in, um, neural circuit of, as a child, being quote unquote brainwashed or conditioned to understand what a couple relationship looks like. The father, the mother, they relate to each other. Okay? So don't think about how they related to you for a minute. Just pause for a minute and notice how your parents related to themselves. How did the father relate to the mother? How did the mother relate to the father? Okay, that's an imprint. You end up choosing one to role model yourself after. Okay? That means when you grow up, you're going to choose how they chose, how the role model chose. So you're going to end up with somebody, um, just like the other parent. So she said she left home, to get away from the mother. She got married, And a short while later, discovered to her dismay, this fellow is just like my mother. Second marriage, same thing. Third, fourth, same thing. So she finally goes to the counselor. What's going on here? You mean to tell me I'm choosing like how my father chose? That's why I keep ending up with my mother? Because my father chose my mother. I got to choose how he chose. So I choose men who are like my mother because my father chose a woman who became my mother. So I keep marrying my mother because my father chose my mother and I choose how he chose. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Actually, I feel a little calmer now because all the people just left here. Oh my God, this is a. I'll make a mental note of this. Maybe I can do a video at night. Maybe I can do some videos at night if it's kind of gonna wind down like this after. That means I'll have like a good an hour of like this. Assuming the watch is correct. I don't know if the time is right. One sec. Oh, let me show you the. Here's what I was talking about. The Logan. Yeah, hold on a sec. There they are. Yeah, all right. Look at that, eh? Oh man. Oh man, I love these. Um, they're in season here. Oh man, I'm looking forward. I'm so much looking forward to the Logan berries. What do they call Logan fruit? Logan fruit or Logan? Not berry. No, it's not a berry. Come on, the Logan fruit. Yeah, simply the Logan fruit. Yeah. She makes a bit of a joke. She says, "How come if we believe that love is blind, why do we believe in love at first sight? I don't get it. We know love is blind. We keep saying love is blind, but then we believe in love at first sight. Okay, the follow up is that love begins at second sight. Second sight, because the first sight, okay, that's the triggering of the past, which you transfer. It's called transfer love. You don't see the present. Withdraw the projection and see them now for the first time for who they are. When you do that, that begins love. So love is sort of at second sight, not first sight, second sight. Love begins at second sight. And she's got a very good exercise called the three-chair exercise about updating the imprint. So you ask yourself, as you recall how when you were a child, you probably didn't like the way your parents related to how they related to themselves. Jeez, because that's your imprint, and you're going by this imprint. Well, why don't we have a better imprint to refer to? Well, how do you create a better imprint? Well, ask yourself, how do you wish your father spoke to your mother? And how do you wish your mother spoke to your father? And write it down and then role play it and role play those two with the two chairs. So you role play. So you sit in one chair. Okay. So you sit in one chair and you say, "My name is," and then you say the name of the father. Okay. And then you sit in the other chair and you play your mother. Okay, my name is, and you say the name of your mother. Okay. And then you do like a theater thing, a healthy dialogue between your imaginary new now healthy parents, and you're gonna play both those roles. So you got to write it out and prepare it a bit, right? So you do little skits. So uh, you would maybe as a child you wish your parents could apologize to each other. So if the mother here, darling, I gotta, I want to make an apology. Um, Yesterday I did this and I said that. I really feel badly about it. Um, Geez, I really feel badly. I said those kind of things. Um, so next time, I'll try to uh, discuss things before it gets to that point, kind of thing. Um, and then how do you wish your father would respond? I'm very relieved. I'm very delighted that I'm very encouraged by what you just said. I'm very glad to hear that, and I'm very inspired. I'd like to do the same. I think I owe you an apology because maybe whatever a month ago I did this little thing, and you specifically named the thing you did. So I did this little thing. It was passive aggressive on my end. I feel badly, but I've been feeling badly about it for the past month. And so the passive aggressive thing I did was fill in the blank, whatever it was. Next time I'm triggered, I'll before I act out, I want to talk about it with you, and I want us to make I statements before we act out, kind of thing. So I'm really sorry I acted that way before. Uh, I don't want that kind of thing to disrupt our relationship like that. So I'm sorry about that thing I did a month ago. And how do you want your mother to respond? I'm relieved to hear that because I was afraid to bring it up. Um, I was afraid I might lead to an argument. So I'm very happy that you noticed this and shared this with me. I feel freer. I feel more confident now. I feel like there's going to be more of a awareness of ourselves and a more of a desire to keep keep the clean communication between ourselves. Um, okay, and then and so on. So that's like one skip. Then another skip. Make your parents, do a fun outing. Hey, darling, I've never gone bowling. What do you say? You got to be kidding. You want to go bowling? Well, why not? I see it on the Carol Burnett show. I thought it might be fun. On the Carol Burnett show, was it 5 pin or 10 pin? Oh, I don't know. Teach me both. Are you sure? Yeah, sure, sure. Okay, sure. Let's try it. We've never done it together. Let's go bowling. I can teach the rules and all that. You got a scorecard and all that. Oh, that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. Do we need special shoes or something? No, don't worry. You can rent them over there. Um, and don't worry about they spray and all that. Okay, so what are we waiting for? So when are we going? So just role play in your parents doing something fun. Let's say. Okay, next skit. Okay, planning a holiday. Let's say, or resolving a problem, or making an I statement, or maybe free associating, or discussing a film. Yeah, what about that? Discussing a film. So let's say your parents went to a film, and afterwards you want your wouldn't it be nice if your parents went to a nice little quiet coffee shop kind of place and discussed the film together and share their feelings about the film and use the film as a prompt to free associate with and have a discussion like that. And then they know more about each other. They have the fun of intellectual discussion like that. So role play your parents discussing a film. So this is the woman, right? The other one. Right? So I'm glad we watched that film, Three Faces of Eve. Geez, um, so so who goes first? So what do you think, darling, about the movie Three Faces of Eve? Well, I didn't think she was that pretty. I don't see what the big deal is about her. Oh, oh, come on. Oh, come on, darling. Never mind about that. What do you think about the message? Is it what's your interpretation of the film? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I just wanted you to know that I think you're more beautiful than Joanne would something. Okay, thank you. And she would say, and don't worry, darling. I think you're much more intelligent and handsome than the shrink guy. So don't worry about that. Oh, I'm thinking about another film. Sorry, I just saw another film. Yeah, okay. Okay, so you get the idea, and you just maybe discuss it and just see what comes up. And if they get stuck, they can maybe research it and decide to follow up on it. Okay, let's think about it and follow up. Maybe we'll watch the film again. Or maybe they'll read the book together. Maybe they'll read the book that film is based on together. Apparently, that the book was written by two counselors who claim who they believe is a woman, Eve, who had the MPD thing. So they believe it like that. But you can survey a million people. Have you ever met somebody who had this? It's just a way of talking about how people act differently sometimes. You know, they drink a bottle of wine, they might be more open. You know, at work they might be one way. It's just a way of saying it like that. They just kind of widely exaggerated it. Used to be called alter egos or imagined other personalities. So what did you like about the film, darling? You might say. Well, the scene about the kid saying, "Hey, mommy, that when you're Jane, I really like you when you're Jane. I don't like you when you're Eve White or Eve Black because you're too depressed when you're really kind of too miserable when you're Eve White, and you're dangerous. You're wildly dangerous when you're Eve Black. You really I don't want to think about it. Oh my God, I don't want either of those two. But I've seen you now as Jane. Um, I want. Can you, mother? Can you be the Jane version of you? Can you be Jane? Come on, mother, be Jane. I love Jane. I like Jane. I feel safe with Jane. Jane's cool. She's relaxed. She's intelligent. She's calm. I want to hang out with Jane. Mother, be the Jane version of you. Mother, could you be the Jane version of you? So the father's saying, I kind of like the kid kind of filling in like that. And so whatever the mother might say, I definitely can agree with you, dear. And will Jane be easygoing like Eve Black or something? Uh, okay, so oh, so you might point that. Oh, I noticed you have. I noticed some some part of you that might relate to the playful, rebellious side of Eve Black. Well, that's true. You know, all women maybe want to feel important like that. You know, uh, women haven't had power for what is it, 200,000 years. We didn't have much power. So Eve Black had all this power, So I could a little bit relate to it. Um, okay, well, I better think. I gotta think about it. I gotta think of a joke about that. So we can do role play a little bit. If you want to dress up like Eve Black, and uh, for me, it's okay. So the idea is you want to role play um, another version of your parents, physically you doing it in a chair, and the idea is that if a couple comes to therapy, he does it with the two chairs on Monday, let's say, and she does it with the two chairs on Tuesday, let's say, and this goes on for a few months, then oddly enough, that couple will um, be referring to their own healthy templates, and she'll refer to her newer template, although it's made up and all that. But she can refer to it and be inspired by it. He'll be inspired by his quote unquote false positive memories, and she'll refer to her false positive memories. but they'll use that as a springboard because they want to relate to each other more nicely. So they need something to kind of refer to. So they reported, the couple reported that they were nicer to each other and happier, and they saved their marriage by it. Because if you don't have that alternative thing to refer to, you're just going to refer to the old, original, miserable, dysfunctional template. She recreates her old template. He creates his old template. So there's a conflict like that all the time. He's reliving his dysfunctional home, how his parents are dysfunctional. She's reliving her dysfunctional home, how their parents are dysfunctional. She plays one of them for him, and he plays one of them for her, and you got this overlapping two dysfunctional homes going on in the couple. Yeah, what a mess! What a painful mess, right? So back up a bit. Okay, go back up. Go to the 3 chair exercise. Imagine how you wish your parents, how you wish they related um, together, how they related to each other. See it, think it, write it down, role play it, do some research, think about it. Think about healthy communication skills. Look it up. Look up healthy communication skills, and give it to your mother like that, and like your father like, that. And then role play that like that. Okay, so this topic that I'm just doing here, this little part here, that's we'll get more. I'll get more properly into it as I read the quotes, or if you want to jump ahead, just read that. Oh, this is the latest I've ever been here. This is the first time I've been in the mall just before it closes. Eh? Yeah. Any final thoughts here? A part of me is tempted to just maybe actually do the quotes, but let me do it in a more refreshed way in part 2. So I'll see you in part 2. For the love of narrative medicine, thanks very much. I'll see you in part 2, and let's close up. What can we close up? Well, since nobody's around, maybe we can close up with another song here. Let's see. Wow, second thought, the guard's just right there. That's not. Actually, he's been okay. He's been good. Yeah. Okay, so what? Yeah. So for the love of narrative medicine, I wish I had like a joke or something to close up on, or show you the Logans again. I don't know. Oh man, oh man, I'm really excited. I was so excited. They're in season now. They're only in season for a little while, right? Uh, where can I get some good light here? I was gonna do the video here, but all the people were right there. So you got all the this is the thing here, right? Plus the back part. So I was gonna do the video here with the blue background. And you have all these guys just staring right in front of you like that. All right, let's close it up here. For the love of Logan fruit, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.